We finally reached the playoff stage for Master Santiago, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick look at the overall map elos for all of these teams, right? In terms of how did they change because of the Swiss stage, right? And then just look at the overall elos for the top 8 teams or the 8 teams making playoffs. And yeah, we're gonna do that real quick, and then after we are gonna go also I'm gonna try to be a bit quicker with this. We're gonna go through the map vetoes for the 4 opening matches of the playoffs, which yeah are just the 4 we have right now, right? We're gonna look at the map vetoes. As I've said, I'm gonna try and make that quick. And then lastly, we are gonna do the Pickems, right, which is the most interesting part. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get right into it. And this is what the map vetoes for all 8 teams in the playoffs is, what it looks like. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of teams have some perma bans in this. And here over here you can see the changes of the overall elo for the teams that had to go through Swiss stage. And you can see for G2 more or less they stayed where they were. NRG gained quite a decent bit, PRX even more, and then Gentlemates majorly improved their overall rating. So yeah, I think Gentlemates overall rating is a bit overinflated. And as you can see, in terms of the ELO rating, in terms of the overall ELO rating, Gentlemates are now favorites, when beforehand it was Nongshim. Um, so yeah, I think for Gentlemates it's a bit overinflated, but yeah, nonetheless, I think um, again with these playoffs coming up, you could reasonably put these top 7 teams in any order, and it could turn out that way. I think just all gamers are worse, and yeah, we've got Gentlemates, then Nongshim and G2 close by each other, then PaperX after, then NRG, and then BBL and Furia, and lastly all gamers. Um, I think BBL Furia they're maybe a bit low as well, and yeah, kind of the teams that went through Swiss, it looks a bit better for them, the ELO rating, but I think that you can kind of argue, right, historically it's kind of been that way, that the teams that went through Swiss stage have the advantage of just coming in hot into the playoffs, and usually the 1 seeds lose more often than they win these opening games of the playoffs. And I certainly think it could happen here as well. Um, yeah, I think Nongshim, um, obviously they're rated highly, but the other 3 aren't. I think, yeah, they're a bit in trouble that maybe these other teams have heated up, and then they might just, yeah, win the opening matches and then just continue to look a bit stronger in playoffs. But yeah, without further ado, let's head right into the map vetoes. And our first match is PaperX versus Furia. Now Furia has had a permaban. I don't know if they're gonna stick with it, but I think it would be decent versus PaperX at least. PaperX also have a permaban, so these 2 bans seem certain. And then for PaperX's map pick, I think they're gonna pick Haven. They've looked fantastic on that map, right? They're 4-0, and the other great map is Split, but Furia is really good on that map as well. So I think PaperX shouldn't pick it, and they should go with Haven, where I think they would win. For Furia, I've gone with them picking Split because it's really their only map that is really outstanding apart from Abyss, which PaperX has a permaban on, and yeah, then Furia on Split versus PaperX, I think it's kind of a 50-50. I've just slightly gone with PaperX, just because I think they're gonna come in really hot, and I think Furia are gonna be one of the victims of the one seed curse, if you want to call it a curse. But yeah, they're gonna be a victim of the one seeds who won't have as much practice. Also, they have a lot of rookies on the international stage, so because of that, I think we might see a 2-0. Furia could take that map. And with the second rotation of bans, I think there are a couple of like it could go any which way really. I've gone with PaperX banning Pearl, but yeah, I don't know. It could also be Bind, but I don't think they're gonna ban Bind just because I think Furia hasn't looked great on that map either. So because of that, I think it's kind of between Breeze and Pearl then for PaperX in terms of which they ban, and I've gone with them banning Pearl just because they've played Breeze more, but could go either way. And then for Furia, I think they're gonna get rid of Bind, and with in this case with Breeze being the decider, or if it's Pearl, I think I'm gonna slightly favor PaperX on either of these maps. If it gets to a map 3, I think PaperX will just win it. I think the maps are kind of 50-50-ish though. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a 2-0 or a 2-1 for PaperX. Sadly for Furia, I think Furia will have to learn from this, and yeah, I don't think Furia stands no chance whatsoever, but yeah, I just think PaperX has looked so great, so that's why that's why I've picked that way. Then on to the second match, which is Nongshim versus Gentlemates. Nongshim had a permaban in Pearl. I don't know if they're 100% gonna stick with that. They might also ban Abyss, but I think Pearl is a better map for Gentlemates, so I think Nongshim are gonna stick with it. Gentlemates have a permaban in Breeze, so they're gonna ban that. I think Gentlemates are gonna pick Split, where I see them winning, and Nongshim are gonna pick Haven, which also is kind of a good map for both of these teams, but I see Nongshim winning on that map. For the second rotation of bans, I think Gentlemates are then gonna get rid of Corrode, which is their worst map out of the maps that isn't a permaban for them, and I think Nongshim are gonna get rid of Abyss, which right is the same principle as for Gentlemates. And then we would get the decider being Bind, which is really interesting because again both of these teams are really good on that map. So that works out in a funny way. And even though Gentlemates have looked really insane on that map and are 4-0, I think it's not really based off on that map that Nongshim win, right? I could see Gentlemates picking Bind instead of Split maybe here, and then maybe I would favor Gentlemates on that map. But it's more so that overall I just think Nongshim are gonna win against Gentlemates, and it's gonna be a really close 2-1 for Nongshim. And yeah, I think these maps are gonna be really exciting. With the Haven I think is fairly one-sided for Nongshim, but the other two maps should be really damn close and should be really exciting. So I think this is gonna be a great game. But yeah, as I've said, I think it's gonna be a 2-1 for Nongshim. The third match is BBL versus NRG, and BBL also has a permaban in Bind. For BBL, I don't know, they have a couple of options in terms of what they might ban. right? They could ban Bind, they could ban Split, because it's also not a great map for them. They could ban, like, I don't know, maybe Abyss would be a great ban because NRG is just that good on their map. But yeah, I've gone with them just sticking with their Bind ban. And then for NRG, I really wasn't sure on what to ban either. They could choose to ban maybe Breeze, because that's a fairly good map for BBL, but I've just gone with them banning Bind because it's not a great map for NRG themselves. And then BBL, I think between Breeze and Corrode, I think they would rather play Breeze, just because I think NRG has the potential to be really insane on Corrode. And even though they haven't shown that this year, I don't think BBL are gonna take that risk. And I think Breeze's either map is gonna be really damn close. And I've just slightly given it to BBL. I think NRG are gonna pick Abyss if BBL leaves it open, and I think it's gonna be a very clear win for NRG on that map. And so the second rotation of bans, I've gone with NRG banning Corrode, just because, I don't know, I don't think they value playing on Corrode that highly. And I think they might just choose to get rid of it because they haven't shown that much interest this year to play Corrode. But I don't know, I'm really uncertain with this game in general. And then for BBL, I've gone with them banning Pearl, because I think they would rather play Haven than Pearl. I think they've looked a bit better on Haven, plus NRG has looked a bit better on Pearl, and in general, EMEA hasn't looked great on Pearl. So because of that, I think Haven would be the better option, and I think Haven is going to be a really close map as well. It's kind of a 50-50 map, but I've gone with BBL. And yeah, even though I think NRG has a map that they will win for certain, and for BBL it's kind of two 50-50 maps, I've still gone with BBL winning 2-1. I think it's a bit of a risk to predict that. Right, you could say NRG are gonna win 2-1, and it's probably more likely to happen. It might be, but I don't know. I've just been sold on BBL from what I've seen from them in EMEA, and I really want to believe in them. So because of that, I've gone for it this way, and I think it's gonna be a 2-1 for BBL versus NRG. And so the last match that is already set is AG versus G2. And AG have a permaban in Breeze. It's also a great map for G2, so that works out well for them. In terms of G2's bans, I think it's between Corrode and Split. In terms of what they're gonna ban, I've I would say, just because they seemed like there was maps, but maybe they're not as confident, it may be something like Abyss, but I'm not too sure. And yeah, in this case I've gone with them banning Split, just because it's a great map for all gamers, so that should work out well. I think G2 are then gonna pick Haven, because it's their best map. They've looked really great on that map, and I think they're gonna win. For AG, I've gone with them picking Pearl, because I think it's AG's best map, and even though it's AG's best map, I think it's kind of a... They do have the best shot on that map, but I would still give it to G2. I still think G2 are gonna 2-0 all gamers. But yeah, in case that doesn't happen, the second rotation of bans, I think G2 are gonna get rid of Corrode then, and AG are gonna ban Bind because it's their worst map, and then it would go to Abyss, where I think G2 would win again, and if somehow it gets to the decider and G2 doesn't win 2-0, I think G2 are gonna win 2-1. So yeah, That's how I feel about this game. I don't think all gamers looked even that great within China, and I think China has clearly looked worse. So yeah, I think G2 should have a great first match. And yeah, so that was it for the 4 opening matches. Now we're gonna do the Pickems. And first up, let's take a look. I've gone 2-0 in the round 3 Swiss stage again. I don't know whether this has been finished yet, or if they've like given points for that. It doesn't look like it. I don't know. Um, so yeah, I think I've done fairly decent in the Swiss stage of the Pick'em, so hopefully it continues here, but obviously it's gonna be so much harder to predict the playoff format. But let's first look in the matches that we've gone through. We've gone for Nongshim and G2, PRX and BBL. And I think Nongshim would take that match versus G2, would favor PRX over BBL. And I would say I'm gonna back Nongshim to make it through to the grand final. Then in the lower bracket, I think Gentlemates should win against All Gamers. I think Energy should win versus Furia. I don't know. I just feel like we're gonna see 2 1-seed teams go out in 7th, 8th, just based off of them not having as much experience, and also just because, yeah, they didn't have any time to get like warmed up on the stage, and the other teams should come in more ready. Then we have 2 regional matchups in the lower round too. And I think first up, I will pick G2 over NRG. And for BBL versus Gentlemates, this is a really close match in my opinion. I think the last time around these 2 teams met, Gentlemates, like they obviously BBL played great, but I think Gentlemates, they just fumbled in a couple of rounds, and if they don't do so, maybe it's gonna be a really close match. And yeah, the rematch of that, it should be really close. I think you could make great arguments for either of these teams, and yeah, I'm just gonna go with Gentlemates because I think like by that point they're just gonna be a bit more ready. I don't know why. I don't know, it's just a gut feeling. But yeah, then I would probably choose G2 over Gentlemates, even though this breaks my heart. But yeah, then I think PaperX would win against G2, and I think PaperX are gonna take it. I think Nongshim's inexperience is gonna be crucial in the final, and I think just PaperX's individuals will step up in a grand final, and they will have more experience on an international stage, and that confidence is really gonna show. So because of that, I see PaperX taking it over Nongshim. And yeah, I think it's realistically, to me personally, I think out of Nongshim, PaperX, and then like kind of, I kind of think BBL and Gentlemates, they both have a better shot at winning this event than G2 does. I kind of feel like G2 are like a team who's gonna make a 3rd or 4th, fairly certain, but I don't really see them having as much of an upside as BBL or Gentlemates have. So that is why Gentlemates and BBL are gonna end up lower than G2, because I think just in the end these teams are also kind of inexperienced on the international stage, but I think, yeah, if everything clicks, they could end up winning. But yeah, for the moment, I just see them coming, Gentlemates coming in 4th, and then BBL 5th, 6th, and Nongshim losing out in the grand final with the map veto advantage, and PRX taking another international tournament. But let me know what you guys think. What are your Pickems like? Who do you see winning this event? Who are your favorites? Who's gonna make a run? Do you maybe have a low bracket run that you think is gonna happen? That would be fun. But yeah, I hope we get some great matches, and then we'll see each other in the next video after the first four matches when we do the map vetoes again. And yeah, so till then, I'll see you guys next time.